Hey guys, just before we start this video, I just wanted to quickly remind you to join our AFL Fantasy comp, and the code is on my left hand side right now if you want to join. This is an open league, so this is unlimited spots, and the winner of our fantasy competition will win a secret prize. Now the reason why it's a secret is because me and my brother haven't decided what the prize is going to be yet, but make sure to join in the fun. But for now, let's get into the video. I want to take a look at the mid-price players. So I'm looking at players between about 850 to 500. That's where I'm thinking around mid-price is for me. So I've picked the top 15 best mid-price players in order of their price. Number one, I think, is a pretty self-explanatory one, is Will Ashcroft, 843, perfect price. We obviously saw in the final series how well he did. I think he's pretty much going to be picked in most teams. So Will Ashcroft's number one. Two, maybe a bit of a surprising one. I've seen some people take him, but Trent Rivers, 841, defensive mid. If he does get the midfield minutes that we're hoping to see.
Yeah, that's dependent on Oliver and Petrarca.
Yeah, if they want to play a little bit more Petrarca forward. But I think he's definitely an option to especially look at in their preseason. I think that's one to watch. Jordan Sweet at 838. Now, that is a bit high, but towards the end of the season for Port Adelaide, when he did play sole ruck, he was very good. He was averaging, I think, over the 90s. So he's a little bit lower priced than the likes of, the Gorns. This is purely on the fact if he plays a sole ruck. If you see Ivan Soldo in that team in round one, I think you avoid him at all costs.
Yeah, 100%.
Number four is Jaden Short, 825. It was a pretty low average scoring for him last season, but with Daniel Rioli gone, one of the experienced players playing at halfback, I think he's going to be used a lot.
Yeah.
He's definitely been a high price pick so far, so keep an eye on Jaden Short in defence. Isaac Rankin at number 5, 818 price. I think he's definitely one to look at because I think that he's going to be playing a little bit of midfield next season as well.
I think it's the fact is that he's 818. He missed a lot of football. In my opinion, he's very high, but there's not a lot of options, so you might have to be able to pick him in. Like you said, he's going to play midfield, some sort of role in there this year.
Yeah, I think that he's going to get some sort of midfield role. So they need to get some sort of pace through there. I think he's definitely going to be the option. It'll be either him and Josh Rochelle, maybe Sid Draper as well. Then we've got Clayton Oliver at number 6. This is a very interesting one because he's priced at $7.97. We've seen how good he can be, and we've seen that he's been one of the top AFL fantasy players for a very long time. But last season was a huge drop-off.
Yeah.
So it's a watch pre-season at this stage. I did have him in the team for an extent. I've swapped him in and out. I think at the moment I'm going to just hold off. But if he has a good couple of pre-season games for Melbourne and playing predominantly midfield, looks good, there's good talks around him, he'll be in my team towards round 1.
I will probably hold off until at least round 2, maybe 3, because obviously he's low for his standards. So if he starts performing really well, you probably get him by round 2 or 3 to see how good he starts.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be him. And the one next to it is probably another one that you could look at is Will Day, number 7 that I've got here. $7.60 price. I think he's definitely a one to watch. His problem is he can find a way to get 30 touches, but only score about 80.
Yeah, that was my problem last year when I been to pick him up. He would get 25, 30 disposals, but he wouldn't get a good 100.
It's kind of struggle to get those marks, kicks, and then the tackles as well. But because getting kick mark, big priority when getting those cheap touches, because you can get a lot of clearances, but if you're not getting those marks around the ground, 30 touches, a lot of those touches will be handballs. So I think that's where he can improve, just getting those marks around that half-back line because he's such a good user. Callum Mills at number 8. I'm a little bit cautious on this one because I think that the question is, does he play midfield or defence? And I had him in the team at first. I'm going to watch his pre-season games, but I also think that McKercher, he's about 850, so he's a little bit higher. He's over 100k more. But if you got that 100k, I would personally chuck it on McKercher because I think that he's going to be playing that halfback role that Sheasel was playing. You got Callum Mills so far, though.
Yeah, I've started with him. I'm with you that you said I don't have Jaden Short at the moment, so I could swap him for that.
Yeah, that's another option too.
And do it that way. So it'll just depend on, like you said, pre-season goes, because also he is injury prone.
After that, I've got Jack McRae. So again, this is a track the pre-season because we've seen the potential of Jack McRae. He is an option because he's a forward. And it depends on where St Kilda want to play him. If they play him through the guts and he gets some good games in pre-season or early rounds, he's a must-have, I think. But I've got Isaac Rankin at this stage for that player, basically. You've got Isaac Rankin as well, I believe.
Yeah, like we saw when he was playing at the Dogs consistently, he would get 20 plus every week, and he would get a good score. He was
one of the players getting those kick marks.
Yeah, he would do that.
So if he gets to his best at St Kilda, he'll get that consistent 90, 100 every week. And for a forward, especially that early to mid-season, that's
goal.
Yeah.
He's a wait and see, but I think he's definitely a big option there. One of a bit of a surprise one that not really people have talked about is Darcy Wilson for St Kilda. I've got him in here. He's 671. He's a forward mid, which is why I like to look at him a lot. He's only 15 more than the next player we'll talk about in Filippo. But I think that Darcy Wilson has a huge ceiling here because I think that he plays off that wing role. I think that Filippo just jumps in front of him on likeliness. But if you want to pick for someone a little bit different, I think Darcy Wilson is a decent get. I think that he had a very good 2K time trial again. I think he won it in his first season as drafted. He has longevity as well. He played, I think, every game for St Kilda last season too. Or he definitely played the majority.
He played 20 plus. He played 20 plus games.
Yeah, so I think Darcy Wilson's a definite look at, wait and see. Being a forward mid as well, I think that's definitely a good look at. But then Filippo is probably the one that takes over, which is my next player. He's 15k less. He's got such a high ceiling. We saw how good he ended his season. He's tracking really well in the preseason. I think he's going to go midfield for the Saints. Jack still needs some help in there, but I think they do want to put some youth through there. So I think Filippo is probably the better option. But if you do want to look at a difference, I think Darcy Wilson's definitely a good look at. After that, we've got Bailey Smith, of course. 598. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
He should be the most popular player.
He is at the moment.
Yeah.
So forward mid, 598. He'll be playing midfield for Geelong. At the very least, he's playing wing. Isaac Cumming. He is only a midfielder. But 575, a lot of people are comparing him to the Riley Bonner of last year.
Yeah.
They're expecting him to take a lot of the kick into the Crows. He's going to be playing off of halfback. He has a pretty good run of averaging around 80 when he's at his best for the Giants. I think at the Crows, I don't think it's exactly a lock just yet, for me personally, because I think he plays very much like a Mitch Hinge. So I think that's definitely a look at. And obviously Brodie Smith is still there. So that's the question if he's going to get that role, or he may even play a little bit higher up the ground as a wing player. But I think halfback's going to be his option. He's definitely a player to look at. But I think you just wait and see that. Again, he's a preseason watch.
Yeah.
Look at those first couple of preseason games, see where his role is. And if he's taking those kick-ins and he's playing off a halfback, I think you lock him in. But if he does play a little bit more wing and doesn't get a lot of those touches in the back half, I think he's probably a void for now. Next one, and he's 50k less. He's in defence. This guy is a lock for me, Kitty Coleman. 521 as a defender. We saw how good a season he had towards the end of 2023. He was ready to blitz it in 2024, injured his ACL in opening round, and was not seen again for the rest of the season. But this guy's got the touch, the skill. Brisbane, the fact that they won the premiership without this guy, I thought it was almost gone. He is such a good user of the footy. He's so clean. He's going to be getting 25 touches a week. Yeah, I think he's definitely a lock for me. I think this guy could be one of the better defenders of the year. And then the last one here is Caleb Daniel. Last year at the Bulldogs, got shafted by Luke Beveridge for, like a lot of people would say. He played, I think, 15 games where he either was sub or got subbed out throughout the season. Didn't play his halfback role that he's used to, and that's why he's priced so low at 514. Another lock for me in the forward line. He's a forward mid, 514 price. That is an absolute lock for a guy who can average at least 90, if not 95.
The one thing that's a question mark for him, if he's going to play off halfback, is the Colby McKercher role, because obviously McKercher was doing the kick-ins, and that's what Daniel would do off halfback. So
the problem is as well, and something that's not really talked about too much, which I think people know, but they don't really talk about it, is the fact that both of them are very short.
Yes.
And they both can't play in defence because they're just going to get scored against. So I think maybe McKercher will move wing as well, which is what Sheasel kind of did. And I think Daniel's that lock in defensive 50 almost.
I just hope that they don't chuck him up for a half forward. I just hope that they don't do that with Daniel.
I don't think they're going to, because I think when Daniel got signed to North Melbourne, he said in an interview that they want to play him in halfback. And I think that's what they will do, because they want that experienced halfback user. So I think he will go to halfback. I think he's definitely a lock. Again, you watch him on the preseason, but I think for now you just lock him in at this stage. But yeah, let's just quickly go over that list again. So that is the top 15 mid-priced AFL fantasy players. Will Ashcroft at 843, Trent Rivers at number 2 at 841, Jordan Sweet at 838, Jaden Short at 825, Isaac Rankin at 818, Clayton Oliver at 797, Will Day at 760, Callum Mills at 759, Jackson McRae at 732, Darcy Wilson at 671, Mateus Filippo at 656, Bailey Smith at 598, Isaac Cumming at 575, Kitty Coleman at 521, and then Caleb Daniel at 514. So I think that's pretty good. I think if you want to pick mid-price players around that mark, a lot of those players are in my team.